You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Welcome everybody to the number. Oh, whoa. Welcome everybody to episode number 111 of the Battered Heat Fans podcast. I am your host Daniel Granada, and alongside me, Mr. Daniel Solana. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Before we get into the show, Danny, I just want to mention, did you see yesterday the clip of Bobby Portis, and he was being interviewed, and he asked, how would it feel if LeBron came to Miami? He goes, well, we already got number 7 and we could get number 6. And what do the kids do? You know, that 6-7.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Excellent recruiting by Bobby Portis.
Well, if you're watching, we're sick of talking about LeBron. So we're going to, even though we started off with kind of, but we're going to talk about LeBron indirectly probably this episode because I'm kind of tired of it, to be honest with you. If you haven't already, like and subscribe. You're not going to get insider information from this podcast. I'm sure there's plenty of podcasts that give you that. We're fans. You're going to get a fan's perspective. We're going to talk and have some fun with Miami Heat. Talk about, like we're going to do today, talk about some history, what we think is big moments, which ones are bigger, and like and subscribe if you want to just hear from some fans, because like I said, I see a lot of people like, oh, I need the insider info. You're not going to get insider info from us. We're fans. We're having fun. And if you want to have fun with us and be part of the Batter family, make sure you just sign and subscribe.
Hey, we might have some insider info once in a while.
Well, once in a blue, but
We
for
have
the most part, people can't look at us for that.
we have sources, but that's not what this channel is about.
Right.
This channel is about us having a good time talking about a team that we love to support, and giving our opinions, based on us being fans. Like you said, it's not about inside, but we might have every once in a while a few insider opinions.
Right. No, for sure. But there's like Ethan Skolnick, for example. People go to him because he's plugged in. Well, you're not going to get Ethan Skolnick type of information from us. That's all I'm saying.
No.
All right. So today we decided, let's talk about something different. This was a big summer. The Heat have had a couple of big summers, right? What comes to mind? Shaq, obviously, in 2004. You got the big 3 in 2010. This summer in 2026, which could become even bigger if LeBron gets here. 2019 with Jimmy Butler. That was a little more under the radar because he wasn't that big of a deal because Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were free agents, and those were the big fish. But we're going to debate or at least talk about who do we think is, or what summer do you think was bigger? So I'm going to let you start off. What summer do you think was bigger? 04, 10, 19, maybe 26?
A lot of people are going to say 2010 because it was the recruitment of the big 3 where Riley cleared cap space, put his rings on the table, and 3 players chose to come. And it was brilliant, but it was just a pitch, right? For me, 2004 was a bet. Riley gave up Lamar Odom, gave up Caron Butler, Brian Grant, and a first for a 32-year-old center with a chronic toe injury, conditioning questions, and a $30 million plus salary. And also a public feud that had just gotten him run out of Los Angeles, if you remember, between him and Kobe. So the Lakers chose Kobe over him. Riley looked at a player the best franchise in basketball had just given up and said, hey, I'll take him. And that's the biggest risk that Riley's ever taken in his career. And it worked in less than 2 years, right? And here's the line that wins the argument, Danny. The big 3 doesn't exist without the Shaq trade. LeBron and Bosh came to Miami in 2010 because Miami was a place that won titles because Dwayne Wade was there recruiting them. Both of those things are products of 2004. No Shaq, no 2006, no championship pedigree, no Wade as closer, and no reason for LeBron James to pick Miami over Chicago or New York. So 2010, in this case, would be the sequel. 2004 is the origin story.
Okay. I see what you're saying, and I can get behind that. A couple things, though. I think 95 is the real catalyst to everything that we have now. 95 was the birth of the Pat Riley. Obviously, he got here, but him getting Zoe. The only reason I don't say the summer of 95 is because they got Zoe a couple of days before the season started. So it wasn't the summer. But I think that trade was a little bigger just for the franchise in general. 2004, you know what I don't like about 2004 is one, Shaq, yes, they got the title after the second year, but literally, like, thank God they got the title. Like, thank God game 3 of the '06 finals happened and they didn't go down 0-3 and lose that series because Shaq completely deploted after that season. Like, the team in general, they got eliminated in the first round the next year. Like, this team was a disaster. They lucked. No, let me not say that they lucked out because that was one hell of a performance by D Wade. But thank goodness that they made the most out of those two because, like I said, it was a gamble and it almost didn't pay off because Shaq gave out after that championship. So '04, I also think that Wade, his trajectory was heading towards, and maybe we could win something with him without Shaq, with that core of Lamar Odom, Karam Butler, Brian Grant was part of that trade also, wasn't he? Like I think that you had a nice core where maybe you don't win a championship, but the way Dwayne Wade was playing, I think Eastern Conference Finals the next year, regardless if Shaq is there or not, and maybe he does something. But if they don't win the championship in '04, I still think that 2010 possibly happens because at that point, D Wade is still frustrated. He doesn't have a chip. Bosh doesn't have a chip. LeBron doesn't have a chip. I think putting those guys together in 2010 is the biggest summer, period. And this is why I tell you I think 2010 is the biggest. People used to talk a little bit about Heat culture, but like, what are you going to say? Heat culture, we have one championship in 20 some odd years. It's not a big deal. If the Heat don't go on that back-to-back run of 4 NBA finals in a row and really win those 2 chips, I don't think anybody talks about Heat culture. I think 2010 was the biggest because that's what cemented what Heat culture was. That's when you can say that you've won rings, you've won championships. And I think without 2010, I don't think anybody cares about Heat culture. Like, oh, you made a couple of NBA finals runs. That's cute. But the fact that they have multiple championships and that doesn't happen without 2010, I think that is the reason that you have Heat culture. And I think 2010, even though I understand '04, 2010 hands down has to be the biggest summer for Miami Heat history and what Pat Riley did. Even though he didn't, Dwayne Wade had a big hand in that. But I think that was Pat Riley's biggest summer.
Yeah, man. I mean, you mentioned a couple of things. Let's start off. Obviously, you talked about Alonzo Mourning in the '90s and that coming, and yeah, that did get it started off, but they didn't win anything, right? They made one Eastern Conference Finals where they lost against the Bulls. They were very competitive. They were a fun team. But look, man, going back to the Shaq, right? To my point here, and you mentioned that Dwayne Wade might have been on a trajectory to get to where he was to win without Shaq, but I don't agree with that. I think Shaq unlocked his game, right? I think Wade before Shaq got here was a downhill attacker with no jumper, and Shaq occupying the paint and drawing doubles is really what created the driving lanes and the free throw volume for D Wade. If you look at the curve, right, he averaged 16.2 points as a rookie, 24.1 the year Shaq arrives, 27.2 the year that the Heat won the championship. And then Shaq handed him the keys publicly. I don't know if you remember, but down 0-2 to Dallas in '06.
Yeah, I know.
Shaq stepped aside and said, hey, young buck, 24-year-old young buck, you take over. And Wade averaged 34.7 in that series. And we won 4 straight, and he took finals MVP. Shaq just averaged around 13 in that final series. So he got Wade there, and then he let Wade be the one to do it. And that's the whole GOAT argument in one trophy, right? Wade is the franchise leader in points, assists, steals, and games played, jerseys in the rafters, statue outside the building. But the thing that separates him from LeBron in this specific conversation is 2006, because it's his. He wasn't a supporting role. He wasn't a co-star. It was his finals. It was his MVP. It was the first title in franchise history with his name on it. LeBron was the better player when he came to Miami, right? LeBron was also a Cavalier before and after. Wade is the only one whose entire identity begins and ends in that jersey if you take out the couple of years that, he went to Chicago and Cleveland. So, look, man, without the Shaq trade, I just don't think Wade's legacy is a great player who won 2 rings next to LeBron. Like that's what it would be without the Shaq trade. He won 2 rings next to LeBron. But with that Shaq trade, he's the guy who won in Miami first.
Yeah.
And then he convinced LeBron to come join him. So I think that's what got everything started.
Yes, that's a great point. I also think that if he doesn't win it until LeBron gets here, I do think that Wade's legacy is a little different, right? Because everybody always points out to the 2006 NBA Finals performance. And without Shaq, he probably doesn't get there. Because in 2005, Shaq was the runner-up for MVP. He lost it to, I think it was Steve Nash, which I believe he got robbed, honestly. But that Shaq disappeared the next season. Shaq in 2005, 2006 was fat. Like, I don't know what happened. Like, the first year he showed up in Miami, he's like, I got to prove Kobe wrong. I got to go ahead and show that I'm still dominant, that I can win without Kobe. And then, I don't know, he like gave up and just became fat. And I don't know. I don't know if D-Wade would have won a championship without Shaq, but I do think that he still would have been great. And it was important. Maybe 2010 doesn't happen without 2006, but 2010 did happen. And it doesn't get any bigger than getting LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade to stay, which he was considering going to Chicago, and then that leading to 4 NBA final appearances in a row and 2 NBA championships. Look, we saw that interview just recently where the guys from 2006 got together and they're like, this was the most unserious championship team of all time. They'd go out. They somehow got Pat Riley to push practice back to start later in the day because they were always going out. They would show up fat to training camp. 2010 to me cemented what heat culture is, just because not just the banners, but just the way they carry themselves. If in 2006 you were allowed to show up fat to training camp and go out and party and stuff, I think that shit went away once LeBron, D-Wade, and Chris Bosh took over. The championships kind of bring a lot of the weight of that culture, and I think that it stayed after that.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point, right? I mean, and I think we can argue that any one of those hold on a second.
Those summers.
Yeah.
Any of those summers could probably be big. And then 6 rings saying Jimmy needs his flowers. Well, yeah, we're going to get to 2019 in a second because I do think 2019 is underrated, because I do think that Jimmy Butler arriving was huge. Because how did you feel when Jimmy Butler got here? Because before he got to Miami, I always knew he was a good player. I never thought he would be I'm going to lead a team to an NBA Finals type of player.
Yeah.
Like, do you agree? I never saw him that way.
I never saw him that way either. I thought he was a fantastic player, an all-star.
Right.
And if surrounded with the right team, I think
he could be a good Robin.
Correct. But I never saw him being Batman. But that's exactly what he was when he was
100%,
down here.
100%.
So look, I think 2019 is the resurgence, right? I think 2004 is the beginning. 2010 was, the brilliance of Pat Riley and throwing the rings on the table and the recruitment. 2019 is the resurgence, because after 2014, when LeBron leaves, when Wade leaves after that, when Bosh goes down because he had that illness, the Heat were, and the word is not irrelevant, because they're always relevant, but the Heat were just not at the top of their game, and 2019 was a resurgence. You brought Jimmy, and it kind of changed the way that the franchise was kind of positioned for the next few years.
What the hell? I'll tell you something that you just randomly brought up when LeBron and Wade left. Before Wade left, I really do think that Wade, Bosh, and Goran, if they would have gotten together, because Goran got there right when Chris Bosh went down. If they get to play together, I think Goran and Chris Bosh are lethal together.
Absolutely, man. I mean, they would have been unbelievable. I mean, Chris Bosh. I think Chris Bosh could have been the leader of this team if Wade had gone, and he could have led this team to the playoffs, and with Goran.
I don't know if he said this before I said it and we were thinking the same, or you said it after the fact, but this is what I was thinking.
Yeah. I completely agree, man. I completely agree. It's really a shame what happened with Chris Bosh. I mean, he was really the prototypical Miami player, unselfish, came down here, did everything that he was asked to do, didn't complain. And man, I loved Chris Bosh when he was down here, and
Big man that can spread the floor. He was ahead of his time, and Spo put him out there.
And who developed him to shoot the 3-point shot? Because he wasn't a 3-point shooter before he came to Miami.
But you know what? And I think that he would have gotten better. I don't think he was necessarily great by the time he ended. But I've heard him in interviews where he's saying where he was just getting there, like he was about to like blow up from outside because that's the part of the game that was developing. He just didn't get to where he wanted to. But yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't know how we got here, but that was unfortunate. 2019, Jimmy coming, I think it flew under the radar because nobody really pictured him as a superstar, and also I think the biggest like fish in the market was Kevin Durant at that point. Everybody wanted to. That's like one of the. How many times has Pat tried to get Kevin Durant over here? That's one of like the 4 or 5 times that they've tried to get him, and I think that's why it kind of went under the radar. But look at that, Kevin Durant never made it past the second round after that. And Jimmy Butler made it to 2 NBA finals. So 2019 was huge. But if LeBron comes in 2026, this summer, where does this one rank?
I still think it ranks behind 04 and 2010 just because, they were in their prime in 2010, Danny.
Yeah.
You're getting a 41-year-old LeBron. You're getting a
late 20s, all of them.
I know, in their 20s. I mean, that was wild. That was a wild time. But still, I mean, I think this still ranks above the Jimmy just because Giannis comes here as a proven winner. Giannis comes here as a guy who has proven that he can lead a franchise, doing it with Milwaukee. And if you can add LeBron now becomes the Robin, right? The second,
without a doubt.
Or possibly even the third fiddle, which is okay, which he is okay with, guys. He's okay with doing that. But
he did it last year with the Lakers.
Correct. I just think that this 2026 iteration of the Heat would rank in front of Jimmy Butler, even though Jimmy Butler took them to 2. But
the very first year, like third pick, Shaqire said.
Yeah, but just because of the hype. Because there wasn't when Jimmy came here, it wasn't that much hype. Like, oh, we're going to the finals.
There really wasn't.
If LeBron were to come here and you have LeBron, Giannis, and Bam, who's not going to be talking about the Heat going to the finals?
I started an NBA 2K season yesterday. I just randomly decided to start it up. I put in the squad with the LeBron James on NBA 2K. Man, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice on NBA 2K. I'm sure in real life it's gonna be nice too, also. But just I started it up already on the 2K machine because I just couldn't wait for it to be official. I'm hoping that it happens. I really am because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I agree, man. I agree, and thank God I still have my tickets. I mean, everybody. And by the way, you don't know how many people have texted me since Giannis announced that he's gonna come, asking me like, "Yo, if you need somebody to go with,
hit me up." Hey, man. They weren't hitting you up last year?
Where were they the last 3 years?
I don't know. I was trying to go last year. I'm just poor.
I told you, man. I'll invite you. You just got to get permission from the fam.
Yeah, it's hard, man. With all the soccer practices and everything, it's hard to make it out there now. The weekend, and then weekends are with the fam. I don't know. It's just hard. But I got to make it out there. I'm gonna try to make it out there for the open for the first night, like I did last year with the kids. Yeah, man, that's it. Just last question. Any underrated trade, just in general, that you feel like that goes underappreciated here in Miami Heat history? Wow. And I just hit you with the top of your head. So I was like, oof, but
that's a good question. Man, the Zoe trade, I don't think is underrated. Obviously, people are very, in line with that one. The Shaq one, again, I don't think it's underrated. I don't think the Jimmy one was underrated either, even though that was a trade. No, I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe the trade to bring Antoine Walker and to bring
Jason
Williams and James.
That was like the biggest trade in NBA history. I don't know if there's been anything big. At the time, it was the biggest in history. I don't know if there's anything bigger since then.
Maybe that one, because that kind of put the Heat over the hump. I don't know if you remember in 2005, Damon Jones, who is probably now in jail or going to be going to was probably one of the reasons that we didn't make the finals, because he missed that 3 in Game 7 against Detroit. And, dude, I mean, once Pat Riley made that trade and brought Jason Williams and James Posey and Antoine Walker, and I mean, it just redid the team. I mean, it made the team a lot more veteran heavy and more savvy and ready for the playoffs. And that's exactly what they did. They went into the playoffs. They were playoff tested, and they went all the way to the finals, and they won the ship that year. So I think, off the top of my head, if you ask me, that trade would be an overrated or an underrated trade.
That team was such a one-hit wonder. Like, to do that, what they did in 06, and then to completely fall apart the next year.
I mean, there was a bunch of injuries. Remember? I mean, Dwayne Wade got injured the next year.
But dude, they get swept in the first round, didn't they?
By the Bulls.
I don't care. I don't care if Dwayne Wade didn't play that whole season. You can't get swept in the first round as defending champs when you still got Shaq and you still got a decent core from the year before. Like, that was bad, man.
Well, that's when you trade Shaq for Sean Marion. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, Sean Marion. I was there for his his debut.
He also wore number 7.
Yes, I know. That's right.
A lot of interesting number 7s for the Heat.
Yeah. Goran, him, Lamar Odom,
Giannis.
Yeah. So, all right. That's us talking like fans. No information, no info, no insider info. Solana, any final words?
Nah, I'm hyped, man. I know we're still 3 months away from the season. I'm hyped for the season. I love doing these daily shows. I love the fact that every time we come on, we get some more people and some great interaction in the chat. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends if they're Heat fans. We got some Heat fans talking about the Heat here on an almost daily basis, and we're just trying to have a good time with it, with each other, with you guys, and kind of see where this goes. So thank you to everybody, and I guess we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, man, we're gonna keep talking the Heat. And one last thing I want to mention real quick before I get out of here. Everybody's like, "Oh, LeBron's such a diva, holding up the NBA schedule. Adam Silver's such a little bitch for holding up the schedule for LeBron." I don't know where this has become a thing. I think Adam Silver was joking when he said that. I look back, and I thought that I knew this already, but I look back just in case. The last 5 times that they've released an NBA schedule, it's been the week of August 13th to the 17th. Like, it's not happening now. Like, people are like, "Oh, I haven't been able to buy my tickets because stupid ass LeBron." You wouldn't have been able to buy anything yet anyway. The schedule always gets released either August 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, or 17th. In that span of those 5 days has been always the release over the last 5 years. And everybody's like, "Oh my God, Adam Silver is here bowing down to LeBron." It's like, it's not happening. And with before, it used to take a while to create a schedule, right? Because it's a lot of play. With AI, you can just, "Hey, give me this. I want to make sure this, and this," and it'll cook it up for you. It'll probably take them a couple days. I'm sure still takes a couple days to get it perfect. It'll take a couple days.
That ChatGPT prompt is gonna be pretty heavy. You got to put in all the dates that you can't have games in certain cities because there's concerts already there. You got to put in all the dates.
100%. 100%.
That you want. You got to make.
That's why I said it takes a couple days.
The Christmas schedule is set, but I think, I agree. I think Adam Silver was kind of, I don't know if he was playing around, but I think it was more of a sarcastic comment at LeBron. Okay, make up your mind. We want to finish, putting the schedule together. I do think that they are talking about the schedule
for sure
together and figure out, what team, so that they can release it on a timely basis, like you said, in the middle of August. But he just needs to make a decision. What is he waiting for? By the way, I applied to the Miami Heat YouTube coordinator job.
If I knew how to apply, I would have done the same.
I'll send it to you. It's on LinkedIn.
Yeah, because that'd be a cool job to have.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. If you're listening, what?
My fingers won't slip.
If you're listening to audio, appreciate you listening to the end. Please give us 5 stars in a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we'll be back possibly tomorrow or when LeBron makes an effing decision to talk some more Miami Heat. So until the next one, have a good one.